Welcome back, my magical star beings. In today's reading, we're going to be taking a look at what type of woman does he think you are. So in terms of your pal selection, you can choose your pal based off your zodiac or his zodiac, which is in the thumbnail, or you can choose your pal based off the pal you're most drawn to. So for pile number 1, we have orange calcite with the star. For pile number 2, we have red jasper with the ace of wands. And for pile 3, we have rose quartz with the 4 of swords. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to pick a pile. So once you're done picking a pile, please find the timestamps for your pile in the description box below. The sponsored segment of the video is about to start in a few seconds, so if you want to support the channel by watching that, I would appreciate it. But then I will see you at your reading. I'll try to be as accurate as I can, but it is a bit tricky when reading for the collective. If you want something more personal, you can always check in with the psychic for a more in-depth description. Speaking of which, I tried a clairvoyant from Psychic Source, and yes, they're sponsoring today's video. Thank you, Psychic Source. I got matched with a clairvoyant through their site, and honestly, I wasn't expecting her to be that accurate. I gave her no personal info, just asked about my future love life, and somehow she instantly picked up that I'm already in a relationship. She literally said, "Why are you asking about the future without mentioning him?" I was literally speechless, but then I remembered that's kind of what I do too. Still a shocking experience to be on the receiving end of it. She described my future partner as someone who makes me really happy, with great communication and bond that can handle anything. But the part that really stuck with me, she said she saw my future husband giving me purple flowers. A few weeks later, nothing happened, so I kind of forgot about it. Then we saw a tattoo promo on Instagram. My boyfriend sent me his ideas so I can book, and boom, a purple flower. Not a bouquet, but I'm definitely taking that as a sign. You can chat with gifted advisors however you're most comfortable, phone, video, or even text. Setting up my account on their website was super easy, and they have this quick little quiz that helps you find a psychic based on what you're looking for, whether it's love, past lives, energy readings, whatever. It made the whole process really personal and intentional. What sets them apart is the level of care and integrity. Only 2% of their applicants actually become advisors, so you know you're speaking to someone who's truly gifted and held to high ethical standards. And they back everything up with a no-risk guarantee. If you're not happy with your last paid reading, it's free. For a limited time, you can use my code Siren at psychicsource.com when checking out, or you can just click the link in my description box below at trypsychicsource.com/siren. You'll get up to 40 minutes with an advisor for just $19.80. That's up to a $240 value. You don't have to use it all in one session. You can spread those minutes out across multiple advisors to see who you truly resonate with. They also donate 1% of your purchase to charity at no extra cost to you. Oh, and yes, I do get paid for this promo, so when you sign up with Psychic Source, you're feeding a perpetually hungry, slightly dramatic psychic, that'd be me, and funding my next impulsive crystal purchase. As you can see, the channel needs some new crystals, but that's all for now. Thank you again to Psychic Source for sponsoring today's video. Pal 1, you chose the orange calcite crystal and the star. We're going to be taking a look at what type of woman does he think you are. So let's go ahead and shuffle your cards. Before I do, I just want to say that I do have 10 spaces available for the first week of December personal readings. If you'd like to book with me, you can find all my contact details in the description box below. So, spirit guides of pile number 1, please tap me into the energy of my pile 1s, as well as the man on their mind. Please show me what type of woman does he think pile number 1 is. What type of woman does he think pile number 1 is? Okay, we have the Empress. We have the Hermit reverse. We have the Eight of Swords. And we have the Four of Wands showing up reverse. Okay, so he thinks you're a very beautiful woman with the Empress because this is Venusian energy. This is about beauty, physical beauty. The star can also tell me that he thinks you have the type of beauty that almost stands out in a way, but you also just stand out and have this kind of dramatic presence. Not that you are dramatic, unless you relate to that, but your presence kind of stands out in a room. People feel your presence even before you make yourself known. People do want to kind of give you a lot of attention and stares because of your beauty and because of the energy you radiate with the star. Maybe you just have a very good energy to him, at least, if he is someone that feels energy. But the star originally came out reverse for your pile, so maybe you're the type of woman that doesn't really look for attention. You're not really like trying to stand out or trying to look for attention or admiration or recognition from others. Maybe you sort of feel uncomfortable with others staring at you a lot or admiring you a lot. And if you don't feel uncomfortable with it, then maybe you're just not necessarily looking for it, but you somehow attract it. He sees you as the type of woman that is quite dreamy in a way. Maybe also talented with the star. Like you could have certain things you're good at or talented at or skilled at. I'm seeing the type of woman that takes her hygiene very seriously. Like I'm seeing the type of woman that exfoliates her skin, makes sure there's no dry skin. Maybe is very good with dental hygiene, flossing, the upkeep of your maintenance of your beauty. You know, making sure your heels aren't cracked, your toes look good, your nails look good. Your outfits too, maybe he sees you as the type of woman that has a great fashion style. For some of you, bougie with the Empress, or just very aesthetically pleasing. Even if he doesn't use the word aesthetically pleasing, that's just the energy that's felt here from my side. He thinks that you're very nurturing, patient, that you have a big heart, that you're also calm, but opinionated is the word I just heard. And he doesn't necessarily view it as bad, but you have your own opinions about things and you're not afraid to make it known. You have a very nice scent, so maybe you always smell good. He also likes your lips and the lipstick colors or lip gloss that you wear. He thinks you're a very fiery type of woman, optimistic, fierce, independent. Maybe for some, quick to get angered or hot-headed, but feisty in a way. Fun to be around, and overall maybe creative, or just like some kind of bright light. He also sees you as somebody that has a pureness or innocence to you as a woman. I'm seeing swan energy, so there's a gracefulness here with the feistiness. It's kind of like mixed together. And I'm seeing the type of woman that's always changing and transforming and growing as a person. I'm also seeing like long heels. Maybe you always wear long heels. I'm also seeing you kind of like stay on top of things when it comes to tasks you need to do during the week, like, you know, making sure you get groceries. He sees you as like always on top of things when it comes to things you need to do or get. He thinks that you can sometimes have maybe a jealous side or a little bit of a nosy side. I don't know if you've like ever gone through his phone or done things like that, but I'm seeing that kind of energy for some. Or kind of like, not necessarily spying on him, but maybe you kind of vet out the person you date. If it's not jealousy or like spying, it's kind of coming through like you try to vet out the person you date and you try to make sure that they're a good man that's trustworthy. So maybe you do a little bit of extra research, if I can put it that way. He sees you as very cute. I don't know if a lot of you like to collect stuffed bears and stuff like that. But he also thinks you would be a great mother if that's something you want. He also thinks you're very smart, intellectual, and that you keep certain things private to yourself that you don't want to like share with him. But these are things that you decide to keep private that are not necessarily bad. It's not necessarily coming through as secretive. But the kind of energy I'm getting here is like there's almost certain things you just wouldn't share with him that maybe you would share with your friends or other women, but not with him. Like you have certain things you'll share with him, but certain things you'll only share with your friends, if that makes sense. Like you know how to keep certain things separate. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but that's just the energy I'm getting. He also thinks you're a philosophical type of woman, the kind of woman that ponders whether the glass is half full or half empty. Ponders on like optimism, pessimism. Maybe is able to have deep conversations. With the Hermit reverse, I'm getting that you're able to look outside of yourself. So you're able to understand people's experiences. Even if you've never gone through that thing, you can kind of put yourself in their shoes and understand where they're coming from. I'm getting this very compassionate feeling, but not only that, like you're able to remove yourself outside the situation. You're possibly not somebody that's like making everything about you. And you know how to like put yourself in other people's shoes and understand what they're going through, even if you haven't gone through that yourself. He thinks you have features that kind of are bold, they stand out, like I said before. He also thinks you're the type of woman that inspires other women and has a lot of self-love. He thinks you're a very girly girl for some of you here. And I'm seeing angel wings in my mind's eye, so maybe he sees you as quite angelic in a way. I'm also seeing somebody that loves to put on makeup, loves to get dressed up. And overall, I'm just seeing a lot of balance in this pile. Like you have a well-balanced life. You like being treated and spoiled and made to feel special in your relationship. Like, let's say he was to take you out on an expensive date. That would kind of make you feel special in a way, even if it's not expensive. I'm seeing like an expensive date in my mind. So maybe he sees you as the type of woman he would want to spoil in that way. He would want to do like romantic gestures and things with. Like he sees you as the type of woman he'd always want to take out on dates. To keep the romance alive, to keep you feeling special and like cared for in some way. We do have Aquarius energy with the Star, Taurus and Libra with the Empress, and Virgo with the Hermit, but we will get more zodiacs later on, towards the end of the pile. He may also think that you're the type of woman that isn't necessarily looking for long-term commitment with the Four of Wands reverse. Maybe you are the type of woman that kind of like feels stuck when the connection gets too serious. Maybe there's like some kind of fear of commitment or non-committal energy. If that is not the case, then I could read this as maybe you're not the type of woman that is one to like play games or play around. You're responsible. Maybe not the type of woman that like goes out all the time, parties all the time. It's just not like an enjoyable experience for you. Okay, let's get some more cards. I'm seeing a responsibility here and a maturity with your energy. Like, you already know how to budget on your own. You already know how to, like, have your life together in some way. You don't need anybody to tell you or show you how to do that. I'm getting, like, a maturity. Okay, we have the Six of Swords. So this confirms what I said earlier, that you're always willing to change, grow, look within with the Hermit, but also look outside of yourself. We have the Nine of Cups and the Emperor. The only thing I'd say here is don't change yourself for a man. Don't change yourself to be liked by a man or to be chosen by a man, because that is the fastest way to lose yourself in a relationship. I don't think he sees you that way, but that is just a message from Spirit, because he kind of thinks you're the type of woman that would be willing to change something within yourself in order to get what you want with the Nine of Cups. But this doesn't have to be for him or for relationships, but I guess I'm just seeing that as a message here. So for example, let's say you really want this job offer, but you know they're looking for a certain type of candidate. So maybe you're willing to not necessarily change yourself completely in your personality, but maybe you're willing to take on certain traits or build certain traits that you don't necessarily have in order to get that. So let's say they're looking for someone with like a very formal kind of look, and so you dress that way to get the job. Or let's say they're looking for someone that can work well under pressure, and maybe you're not, but you try to become that so that you can keep that job. That's what I'm talking about here. It doesn't have to be a career, but I'm using that as an example. But I could also read this as, if you don't relate to that at all, I could also read this as you just trying to become the ideal version of yourself. It's like you have a certain type when it comes to men, a certain type of man you're looking for, and you know what you want. But there's also this energy of like, I know who my ideal version of self is, and I want to become that. And even if it takes going outside my comfort zone, even if the growth is uncomfortable, it's like maybe you're changing yourself to become that ideal version of self, to become that dream woman you want to be. Even if it's uncomfortable, the change. Maybe you're letting go of bad habits, changing your mindset on certain things. But I also get with Six of Swords, Nine of Cups, somebody that changes their mind easily. So maybe one day they want this, and then the next day they want this. I'm getting that for some. And when it comes to your standards in love, you won't settle for less. You're looking for a certain type of man, like I said before, with certain types of qualities and traits. Maybe you have like an actual list of things you're looking for in a man, either written or just in your head. And if a man just doesn't meet those standards, bye-bye. You also don't mind being a little bit disrespectful to men, especially when they cross your boundaries or make you feel uncomfortable in some way, and he likes that about you. He likes that you're not like giving access to everybody. Like if somebody's gonna cross your boundary, you're gonna kind of protect yourself with the Seven of Wands at the back of the deck. He may also think that you're a little bit guarded in love, that you keep him at an arm's length or distance, that you may sometimes push him away, but it's because of your own wounds or fears in love. He may also think you're the type of woman that overthinks a lot with the Eight of Swords, and that sometimes holds you back or keeps you stuck. But overall, I'm seeing a lot of great qualities here. You could like to wear a lot of jewelry or accessorize in some way. We have the Wheel of Fortune. The Magician. I'm hearing that song, I Ain't Your Mama. So he thinks you're the type of woman that won't mother a man. So the Wheel of Fortune, Magician, Seven of Wands, and Nine of Swords reverse. I'm getting a kinky energy from this pile. Like, you know how to keep him satisfied in the bedroom. I'm also getting an unpredictability with this pile in a good way, where you keep him on his toes. He never knows what side of you he's gonna get. Maybe you have like multiple sides to you. We also see Gemini energy here. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, as well as Aries. Those are just the signs I'm seeing from the cards, like the actual cards. But like I said, we will get zodiacs later on. You also look good naked. I don't know why that's coming through, but when I'm looking at her, she kind of looks naked there. I keep getting that you have an amazing fashion style, quite unique. The Nine of Swords confirms what I said about anxieties, worrying a lot, overthinking a lot. But since it's reversed, maybe you're trying to work on this in yourself or try worry less in a way. With the Nine of Cups opposited and the Magician, I don't know if you're into manifestation or if you've just subconsciously been doing this, even if you're not into manifestation, but maybe you've been trying to see things from the best perspective instead of the worst perspective. So in terms of an outcome you're thinking of in your mind, maybe you're trying to think of the best possible outcome instead of the worst possible outcome, and that is actually helping you manifest your dream life. He thinks you're the type of woman that has big dreams, big goals that you want to bring into fruition for yourself. Big opportunities that you're going to grab and possibly grow into, even if you don't feel ready for it yet. And there's this feeling of like, I don't need a man around me. I have my own independence. I have my own dreams. I have my own friendships, my own life outside love. But if I want you, I'll keep you. So there's this healthy kind of like, kind of attachment style, I want to say. Maybe some of you are kind of like, more on the anxious attachment style side, but maybe you're moving towards a secure attachment where you don't feel codependent on a man in some way. Even if he doesn't know psychology terms, that's just what I'm seeing in the energy. Even if he doesn't know how to describe this, he may have seen this within your personality. I'm seeing the type of woman that loves celebrating the holidays, Christmas, Halloween. That's what I'm seeing in my mind's eye. Like, I'm seeing someone decorate a gingerbread house or, like watch Tim Burton movies or dress up for Halloween. I'm even seeing the type of woman that likes horror movies, is artistic in some way because I'm seeing painting. I'm seeing the type of woman that maybe isn't the best at cooking but makes up for it in other ways. But I don't think this man minds. I think he kind of like makes a joke out of it, but not laughing at you, but like, I hope you get what I mean. You know how to bring beauty to not only yourself, others that you give makeovers to, but also the home. It's like, you know how to make your house a home. You know how to make it look cozy, well decorated. And he also just thinks you're the type of woman that is very sweet, maybe open-minded. There's a wanderlust here as well, and a want to travel or explore or have adventure. So that is all I have for this section of the reading. Let's now get some zodiacs and initials. I'm hoping to get yours or his. So let me know how this has resonated for you so far in the comments below. Also, I do have a membership where I post a weekly video on there. Exclusive content only to the membership. So if you want to check that out, I would appreciate it. Also feel this one. Oh, and this one fell out too. Okay, so we have like 6 zodiacs here. Taurus, which I think I mentioned, as well as Aries. Leo. Gemini. Scorpio. And Libra, which is interesting because I think I mentioned some of these. I don't think I mentioned Leo though. Okay, we have the initial O. S A H N Q. For some reason, I'm seeing a candy cane in my mind's eye. So again, maybe you're very sweet. M E L. We have the name Mel here for someone. We also have the initial E as well as M again. So 2 M's. We also see the name Helen, something like that. We also have Hannah, I guess. L, like ELLE. Okay, so that is what I have for you. I do hope this reading resonated. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how it resonated. Like I said, let me know if your zodiac or his or initial came out. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time. Pal 2, you chose the red jasper crystal and the Ace of Wands card. We're going to be taking a look at what type of woman does he think you are. So before we get started, I'd just like to say I do have 10 spots available for early December readings, the first week of December. So if you'd like to book with me, you can find all my details in the description box below. Okay, so for some reason I'm seeing Ariana Grande in my mind's eye. I'm just going to list out a few traits of hers. Maybe you would resonate with it. Maybe some of you look like her physically or have a resemblance to her or a specific celebrity. But maybe some of you are dainty, petite like her, or you have like a high-pitched voice or a sense of softness about you, elegance, grace. There is also a lack of accountability with her. I don't know if that would resonate with some. But like in this era she's in, like with her Wicked era, she's like she's showing up as very graceful. I was even seeing her like dance. But specifically that video where she has like almost like clothes that look like ballet clothes. I don't know if it was actually ballet clothes. But it's making me think that maybe some of you like to do ballet or dance. But I'm even seeing Pilates in my mind's eye. Maybe someone here likes Pilates. Now, the Ace of Wands typically represents somebody that is very sexually appealing. So he thinks you're very sexually appealing to him. He thinks you're very hot. He thinks you also turn him on. And he gets very excited whenever he sees you. With the Nine of Wands, in this type of reading, I see it as somebody that plays hard to get. Or someone that isn't like easy to get in some way, like maybe he had to kind of chase after you, put in a lot of work, put in a lot of effort, where it was kind of a challenge to get you in some way. Okay, we have the Nine of Cups reverse. Now, I don't like to label with those words because it feels kind of icky, but that is the energy coming through. Like, I don't like to like say, okay, someone's easy or someone's hard to get, but that is kind of the energy coming through. Nine of Cups reverse, Seven of Wands reverse, and the Emperor reverse. I'm also hearing that one song by Summer Walker. I don't know which song it is, but I think there's a part where she's talking in the beginning or at the end or something, and she's like, "Where's my money? This is only a certain amount of dollars. What am I going to do with this amount of dollars?" But she's kind of like saying it in a like very sassy way, I guess. So maybe he thinks you're the type of woman that doesn't play around with what you want. If you want something specific, you're not afraid to ask for it. And if he doesn't give you what you want, you're going to make it known with the Nine of Cups reverse. That's how I'm just like reading it as per the cards, like intuitively. Maybe when things don't go your way, there's this kind of energy of you make it known. But I think he doesn't view it in a bad way. I think he finds it kind of funny. I think he likes the sassy side of you. I think he likes when you kind of like make it known what you're deserving of or what you want. He thinks you're the type of woman that is possibly creative with the Ace of Wands for some. I'm also seeing like this woman that like lives near the beach, has like a very coastal vibe or look. She's like very calm. So maybe that relates to somebody here. Like I'm seeing some kind of like harbor or like where there's like a lot of boats. I don't know what to call it. I think it's called a harbor. Anyways, I'm also seeing some kind of perfection. He almost sees you as kind of perfect to him. There's something about you also being very photogenic. And maybe you're somebody that doesn't really have a guard up. Like, you kind of trust him in a way, but you also make it known that if he does something to break your trust, then he must watch out, I guess. He thinks you're the type of woman that is kind of like vibrant in personality, maybe optimistic with the Ace of Wands. You kind of are like a breath of fresh air to him. You're very fun to be around as well. And I'm getting somebody that is not so emotional. He may also think you're the type of woman that doesn't mind dealing with a challenge. In fact, maybe you like a challenge and it kind of like gives you something to work on or something to think about. Like, let's say you're going through a challenge in your career and you're trying to figure something out. That could be the case for some. Or maybe you have had a challenging life. With the Nine of Cups next to it, maybe things haven't gone your way always, and maybe that's been quite challenging for you. But I also get that you're a lot to handle, but in a good way. He likes it. He finds it sexy. I'm kind of hearing that quote, you're a lot to handle, but I got two hands. Something like that. I've got two hands, yeah. I keep seeing somebody that's like musically inclined. Like, I don't know if I'm picking up on somebody that can sing well or plays a musical instrument or something, but I keep picking up on that. You're also somebody that won't easily get played. It's like in love, not that he's trying to play you or anything like that, but in love, like you're not naive in any way. You won't be sold a dream. So if somebody is like maybe bringing a lot of drama into the connection or something, like you're gonna see that immediately and call it out immediately. And if you're not happy with it, you're just gonna like let go of that because you're not gonna stay in something that's unfulfilling, right? For some, I see a little bit of a possessiveness with the Emperor reverse, but I don't think he minds it. I think he actually likes it. Four of Wands, the Ten of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles reverse. These cards like not fell out, but like flipped. I don't know if you saw earlier. Seven of Pentacles reverse and the Death card. There's almost like this realization with the Death card of like, you're not the old version of yourself. You've changed in some way for the better. I also see him kind of having a hero complex and treating you as though you're the damsel in distress that needs saving. I don't know why I'm getting that energy from him, but I am. Maybe he's like always trying to save you in certain situations or make the situation better for you when it's not going your way, or maybe he's always trying to keep you safe or protect you in some way. That could show up as a little bit overprotective on his side. I'm seeing someone with like great makeup. Like your makeup is always on point. What I'm seeing in my mind's eye is Clark from Love Island, how her makeup was always on point. I'm seeing that in my mind's eye, which is why I'm saying it. There's also something about having like nicely arched eyebrows, nicely shaped eyebrows. There's also something about your body and hips that he's very attracted to, like the curve and shape of your body. Some of you kind of like have a boho vibe about you as well. Whereas some of you like to dress more casual, but when you're like going to a formal event, maybe you go all out. He may also see you as sometimes a little bit dominant in the bedroom, a little bit of a tease. He likes that. He likes when you kind of like undress for him. He also sees you as quite intelligent. And I'm getting that this pile has a strong intuition. You have some kind of strong womanly instinct, gut feeling. You know when something's going on behind the scenes. I'm seeing somebody with a beautiful, gorgeous smile as well. And somebody that might take their time getting ready. But somehow you always end up being on time to places, situations, even when he thinks you're going to be late. Because maybe you take a long time to do your makeup, your hair, get dressed up. I also see him loving to make you laugh, like constantly wanting to make you laugh or do things for you that are going to make you smile. He sees you as someone with like both hots and personality. You know how some people can be super hot, but maybe they don't have a personality? You're the opposite of that. I also get that he tends to have a jealous side too. I see him kind of like, I wouldn't call it spying, but maybe stalking your social media, checking what you're up to. So maybe both of you kind of have that dynamic. He thinks you also have beautiful eyes, soft skin. He loves to hold your hand. And I don't know why, but I'm seeing the type of woman that doesn't mind watching sports. Like I'm literally seeing a sports game in my mind's eye. But I'm not necessarily picking up on somebody that's a tomboy because I pick up that maybe you like girly stuff as well. But you also don't mind maybe watching that with him, I guess. Or maybe you just like pretend to be okay with it. I don't know. Or maybe you genuinely enjoy it. I guess I'm picking up on different people here. Just take how it resonates. He loves the jewelry you wear. The jewelry you wear is almost like very bougie. He thinks you're also a good listener. And he likes the way you style your hair. I'm specifically seeing straight hair. I'm seeing somebody that is very confident in themselves, can sometimes even come across as vain because of how confident they are, but he loves that. Like I'm seeing somebody that always looks in every mirror they come across, like they're always going to look at themselves. Maybe you also love to receive compliments from him and he knows that. I'm seeing the type of woman that's also a foodie. Someone that's very loyal. Fun to be around. A good time to be around. Maybe the life of the party. And your friendships mean everything to you. Like you would do anything for your friends. You would defend them in any situation. I'm seeing the type of woman that doesn't really want to work for some. Or you don't want to work like long hours. Like you want to have time to do other things that are maybe important to you. Or maybe you work smart but not hard. There's almost like, I even see like somebody that has like their own business, is their own boss so that they can have freedom and have their own hours, choose their own hours. You're intimidating in a hot way. I think on some level, he's a little bit scared to mess up, but it also kind of like excites him how strict you are with what you will and will not allow in the relationship, like with your boundaries and stuff like that. He also thinks you're the type of woman that is comfortable with your sensuality. But I am also getting like classy woman kind of vibes where it's like Maybe there's a balance there, I guess. Okay, let's take a look at the next cards. The Page of Swords reverse, Muse of Inspiration, which is the King of Wands, Ten of Wands, and Five of Pentacles reverse. I'm seeing the type of woman that likes to hear gossip, likes to hear the tea, but maybe either likes drama or doesn't like drama in her own life, but like maybe likes to hear other people's drama. Also, he thinks you're the type of woman that is very giving. Sometimes you may even overgive. So you're allowed to ask for what you want and kind of like be strict with what you want. Like, I want this, not that. So he sees it as valid in that sense because you already like give a lot of value in this connection and you give a lot of yourself to him. So he doesn't mind going the extra mile for you as well to get what you want or give you what you want. He thinks you're the type of woman that deserves princess queen treatment. And that with the Five of Pentacles reverse, if you feel neglected in a connection or if you feel like you're not getting your needs met, you're probably just gonna like leave or not entertain it anymore because you're not gonna keep pouring yourself into somebody that's not pouring back into you. So maybe you're the type of woman that looks for reciprocal connections, looks for connections that kind of like fulfill you in a way. If something isn't fulfilling you, like I said before, you're going to leave. And if somebody isn't giving the same amount of effort or even more, then you're not happy with it. Like, you know your own worth and your own value is what I'm getting. He thinks that you and him are very similar in nature and that he likes the similarities you hold. Like, you're almost like the women version of him is how he's viewing it, or his other half in some way, if you're that serious or that close. If not, then he could just see it as like you're very similar and you get along well. He relates to you in some way, even though you're a woman. He also thinks you're very inspiring, that you're his muse, that you push him to be a better version of himself. He wants to be ambitious and provide for you. And he wants to create a safe, stable environment for you where you feel like you don't have to like carry everything on your own. Because I see like if he was to get serious with you or if you're already serious, with the Four of Wands, he does see a future with you and he does see himself committing to you. He does see himself getting serious with you. So if it was to go to that level where you were to be living together or to be married or something, he wouldn't want you to be doing all the work, all the chores, bringing in all the money. Like, he would want to do like all those things that provides so that you don't ever have to worry about money or not have enough money, so that you can do your own thing. But I think he also wouldn't want you to have like all the chores on you. You know what I mean? I don't think he would take advantage of that in a way. He also thinks you're the type of woman that his family or friends would or already do love. Either his family and friends say they already like you, or he thinks they would if you were to meet them. He also thinks you're kind of funny, you have a good sense of humor. There is a little bit of nosiness with the Page of Swords reverse. Like when it comes to maybe other people's gossip and stuff like that we already spoke about. So Muse of Emotions, Five of Cups, which this is the King of Cups. So I'm guessing with the Page of Swords reverse, it's kind of like maybe you know everybody's tea, everybody's business. Or maybe somebody's always telling you everybody's tea, everybody's business. I'm also getting that you express your emotions in a way when somebody hurts you. Maybe you're not the most emotional person, but like I said before, you kind of just seem very calm with the King of Cups. Like, nothing really throws you off balance unless it's really bad. But when somebody does disappoint you or hurt your feelings, maybe you vocalize it. Maybe you know how to, like, move on from it very quickly and calm yourself down very quickly. Like, maybe you'll express those emotions for a while, but maybe you'll calm down very quickly. You won't become bothered by it. You're kind of, like, unbothered in a way. You kind of flow through that and you don't hold on to it forever, because the King of Cups is all about emotional balance and emotional regulation to me. So that's kind of like the type of woman he sees you as. Is there anything else in terms of the type of woman he thinks pile number 2 is? I keep seeing loyalty. I see somebody that is kind of introverted but loyal to everybody in their life. I see somebody that eats very healthy, is good at cooking. I also see somebody that is very on top of things with their beauty. Like, maybe you're always like let's say you're at a restaurant, you're like, okay, let me reapply my lipstick, let me, powder my face a little. I get something like that, like you're always looking good when no matter where you go. Maybe you're always doing like touch-ups, things like that. I'm also seeing Sagittarius energy in my mind's eye. We also have Scorpio here in the cards, as well as like lots of fire sign energy, which is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We'll see what zodiacs we get in a minute, but that's just what I'm getting so far from the cards in my mind's eye. You know how to deliver things in a smooth way with your words. Like, let's say you're delivering some kind of news that is maybe a little bit bad or disappointing. You know how to deliver it in a way that is maybe a little bit more sweet, that softens the blow. But also when it comes to situations that maybe aren't the best, like, let's say you're going to call out somebody on their behavior, maybe you know how to, like, deliver it in a way that calls them out, but still is almost, like, intelligent and witty in a way. When this person sees you going through drama, I see popcorn in my mind's eye, which means they find it, like, very entertaining. Like, maybe when you tell him gossip, or when you kind of, like, tell him what you said to another person when you called them out, it's kind of like he finds it very entertaining. Maybe you're also very entertaining, like, in personality, in your storytelling. Okay, so let's now remove these cards and pull some zodiacs and initials. I'm hoping to get yours or his. Oh, we also had Aries energy in the cards with the Emperor. Okay, so let me know how this has resonated for you so far in the comments below. Also, I do have a membership if you like my readings and you want to see more exclusive content of mine. I do post on there weekly. Okay, I think we got enough zodiacs. I don't know if I got too many. I think I'll put one back. Or two back. Then let's get some more initials. Okay. Okay, I'm also seeing a milkshake in my mind. So that reminds me of somebody that is almost like very delicious. It also reminds me of that song, My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard. So maybe you're somebody that is very desired by others in some way. So Scorpio and Sagittarius. We have Leo. We have Aquarius, Virgo, and Pisces. Okay, I think I might be a part of this pile because I have placements here. Okay, we have I. We have Y. K. Of course, I didn't resonate with everything here, but, like, sometimes I like to see what's my pile. But then, like, maybe I won't resonate with everything. Z. I. R. A. D. A. G. I'm also smelling like this really nice kind of cooking smell that almost smells like spaghetti. So I guess being a good cook could be coming up strongly. S. Or having a good taste in food. X. P, and V. So that is all I have for you. I do hope this reading resonated with you. Let me know how this resonated for you down in the comments below. Also, let me know if your or his zodiac or initial came through. So yeah, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to see you next time. Pile 3, you chose the Rose Quartz Crystal and the Four Swords card. We're going to be taking a look at what type of woman does he think you are. So before we get started, I'd just like to say that I do have 10 spots available for personal readings for the first week of December. So if you'd like to book with me, then you can find my contact details in the description box below. So spirit guides of pile number 3, please tap me into their energy as well as the man on their mind's energy. Please show me what type of woman does he think pile number 3 is. What type of woman does he think pile 3 is? I'm seeing Manic Pixie Dream Girl energy for some reason. I don't know if he even knows like the word of that, but I'm just seeing the energy. Even if he doesn't describe it that way, I'm just reading how the energy is coming through. Sun reverse. Temperance. I'm also seeing with the Four of Swords that maybe you're the type of woman that is big on self-care. You love to go to the spa, the salon, take bubble baths for self-care, you know, put roses in it. I'm even seeing someone that likes to put like different oil scents in a diffuser, like candles, you know, put on face masks, stuff like that. The Four of Swords also represents somebody that is very chilled, relaxed, and laid back. Can sometimes be a little bit nonchalant, but very chill in personality. I'm also picking up on somebody that's very spiritual. Or kind of dreamy in a way. Okay, so the Sun reverse, Temperance, Nine of Swords, and Page of Pentacles. There is a little bit of self-comparison here, where he doesn't want you to compare yourself to others, but sometimes you may do that. And he wants you to know that everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. Like, there is no need to compare yourself to another person, and it's easier said than done, but you may not even realize that some people compare themselves to you. So sometimes when you see it in that perspective and you see it as like everybody has things about them that are great and maybe not the best, and we can admire that about them and find inspiration from that, but we don't need to compare ourselves because we have our own great qualities and strengths that we may not see ourselves. There may be a little bit of pessimism here with the Sun reverse. Maybe you've had a time in your life where you were kind of depressed or going through it. Maybe you're not the most like energetic, vibrant type of person. You're more chilled and relaxed and laid back. You don't kind of like to be all over the place in some way, like bouncing off the walls. I see somebody that's like the opposite of hyper. But it doesn't mean you're lethargic in any way, but it's almost like you're just chill, you know? But with Temperance here, it's almost like you've been finding a way to heal from maybe the things you've been through. And with the Nine of Swords, maybe a lot of this mindset comes from worries, fears, anxiety, overthinking, or maybe even just past experiences you've had where you're afraid that if you're too happy or if you're too optimistic that you may get disappointed. So maybe you like to look at things in either a realistic point of view where you prevent yourself from getting disappointed, or maybe for some of you it leans more towards pessimism. But I do think with Temperance you're starting to heal this and balance it out in some way where you're not going too much to the extreme of pessimism, where you're not going too much to the extreme of toxic positivity, but kind of finding the middle ground. I think this guy sometimes psychoanalyzes you, not in a bad way, but I think he almost like has a love language of trying to understand a person, because this pile's messages are coming through as very deep, almost like he's analyzing you and your personality and your life and like what's led you to become like this. So I think on some level he does it not for any bad reason, but to kind of like understand you as a person. Maybe he's looked at what you've been through and kind of like tries to analyze why you are the way you are. Not in a bad way, but I hope you get what I mean. He may see you as somebody that can have fun, but you do everything in moderation. You do like to, have pleasurable moments, but you also do everything in moderation. And maybe you're also very focused on your responsibilities, your work or career or studies at the moment. It's like you allow yourself to have fun and pleasure in life, but you don't allow it to distract you from the important things in life. You're someone that won't be taken advantage of either. Can sometimes be a little bit serious. I'm seeing Daria's energy in my mind's eye, so maybe some of you would relate to her character. Maybe some of you like to wear floral dresses or sundresses or something like that. Or some of you like to dress like in a very sexy way like we see here. I'm also seeing like a Y2K kind of style. I'm also seeing natural beauty, but I do see that maybe a lot of you like to wear like a no makeup type of look, or a light makeup, soft glam type of look, depending on the day or the occasion. He thinks you're kind of hard to read in some way. Like, I think sometimes he observes you and analyzes you so much to the point where he's confused and doesn't know what to believe. Because he may come to a conclusion in his mind, but then question, like, are they like that? I need to analyze them more. You're also seen as somebody very helpful to him, but not just to him, but to people in general, even strangers. And you're possibly that type of person that will like smile at strangers. He sees you as a genuinely good person with a good heart. Maybe you've been kind of like hurt in some way or gone through some things in some way, but you genuinely have a good heart to him. He also sees you and thinks of you as a type of woman that takes importance in the small little things in love and relationships, but also in life. Like maybe you romanticize the little moments. But what I'm getting here is like the little things matter to you in love, like little things like maybe you're busy right now and somebody's saying, I got you, let me help you with this, let me make your life easier. Or little things like maybe you get dressed up and they compliment you and they're like looking at you like, wow, stuff like that. I'm also seeing that you kind of have put him on to things he never thought he would like. Like, for example, I'm seeing somebody do yoga and maybe like show him like how to do it, and maybe he doesn't like find it interesting at first, but then maybe later on he does. Or I'm seeing someone like burn incense, like do kind of like spiritual, maybe not rituals, but like something to do with spirituality. But it doesn't just have to be with spirituality, it could be other things too, but maybe you've put him onto things that he maybe never at first found interesting, but later on he did. Like I'm seeing someone light incense and maybe at first he doesn't like it, but then later on he's lighting his own incense. I'm seeing it with spiritual things, but it could be anything in general. But like I said, I pick up on a very spiritual pile here. I'm also feeling the energy of somebody that is a homebody, loves to like just chill at home and do things at home rather than go out all the time. I also get the energy of like taking shortcuts in the sense where, let's say you've had like a very busy day and you don't feel like cooking, so you're just gonna order in, or like maybe a task usually takes very long, but you find a way to shorten the time so that you have time to do other things. I guess I don't know if I'd call it shortcut, but I'm seeing other situations where it's like you try to do a task maybe in a faster amount of time, so that you can get more done. So maybe he sees you as kind of productive, but you also give yourself time to relax and have balance there with like your work, your productivity, and other aspects of your life. And then I'm seeing like somebody that can be very organized and perfectionistic. But you found ways to kind of make yourself relax when you're anxious or when you're kind of going in a perfectionistic spiral. Like you find ways to kind of ground yourself and anchor yourself through that. So 4 of Cups reverse. I also feel someone specific's energy that I know. She's a reader on here. So maybe I have like some psychic readers on here watching. So the 4 of Cups reverse, 5 of Pentacles reverse, and 10 of Wands. Oh, when I split, not split the deck, but like put it down, the High Priestess is like almost falling out, which is a card of spirituality, psychic abilities. But since it is reversed, maybe a lot of you struggle to trust your intuition at times, or you doubt yourself sometimes. You may be kind of private or secretive with the things that are important that you don't want to share to the whole world. Privacy keeps your peace intact, because if everybody knows what's going on in your life, the drama, like maybe the challenging moments, like it could just bring negative energy or just other people's opinions that don't really matter. Like it's not their life, it's your life, and you don't want to have like other people putting their opinions on your life of like how you should live your life. You know what I mean? So maybe some personal information about your life stays private. I also see somebody that's very generous, not only helpful but generous, maybe charitable. And you're someone with the kind of like energy where even losses turn into wins. I'm seeing like Midas's hand, this touch of gold, like everything you touch turns into gold. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but maybe it has to do with the things you create, or maybe you just have very good ideas. Maybe this person sees you as somebody that's able to create your own abundance, even if you're not at that place right now with the 5 of Pentacles, where maybe some of you aren't fully in lack, but you're not fully in that energy of like financial freedom yet. This person sees you having the potential to get there. He sees you as someone he could never grow bored of, with the 4 of Cups reverse, and he feels fully fulfilled in this connection. He feels like you never let his needs go unmet, whether emotional, physical, mental needs. You're always like pouring into him. Maybe sometimes you overgive a little bit, but I pick up on the kind of connection where it's like you're always doing the most, always going the extra mile for the other person, and that person does it for you too, where it doesn't like exhaust you or leave you feeling empty because the other person's also pouring into you and going the extra mile. Kind of like that kind of connection. 2 of Cups energy I'm seeing in my mind, where we just fill each other's cup in some way. He does think that you can sometimes be a little bit obsessive when it comes to planning or organizing. We have the Ace of Cups, sorry. Maybe some of you would relate to part 2 because their card was the Ace of Wands, 3 of Cups, and the World. He also thinks you're the type of woman that is physically sexy, like your body is very sexy. There's also something about you just being someone with a really good heart, like maybe somebody that is more on the emotional side, but not overly emotional. He also thinks that you're the type of woman that pours out your heart to others, doesn't mind being vulnerable with like your friends or your lover, those closest to you. You have a lot of empathy and compassion for others too. And you're possibly someone that will never break, even in situations where you thought you wouldn't be able to get through it. You always find your way out of it. You're probably somebody very resilient. I see somebody that's kind of romantic too, but romantic in the sense where you find the meaningful things important. You're not necessarily somebody that's looking for glitz or glam or something too grandiose in gestures. Like, you prefer these simplistic type of things in love. The things that truly matter or are meaningful rather than just the superficial kind of things. He thinks of you as the type of woman he sees as a companion, a friend too. Like, you guys have a friendship and a connection, not just romance here. He feels like he can talk to you about anything and you wouldn't judge him. And he also sees you as someone that is very authentic to yourself. He thinks you are going to achieve a lot, and he wants to celebrate your wins with you when you do. And he knows that if he achieves things too, you're also going to celebrate his wins. I see loyalty and devotion here. I also see somebody that kind of like starts a lot of projects and doesn't finish it. You're the kind of person where maybe you like to go where your creativity is kind of like, and your motivation is kind of like pushing you to do something. But when you don't have like the motivation or creative spark to do something, you may put it on the back burner and go towards something more exciting in the moment. He also thinks you can sometimes be a little bit confusing at times. Why is that, Spirit? Unpredictable. It's kind of like he never knows what your next move is going to be. That's why you're confusing, because you're a little bit unpredictable. He also thinks of you as the type of woman where family means the world to you, and if someone doesn't get along with your family, that is a deal breaker for you, or that's going to be very difficult for you to stay with that person if they can't get along with your family. Maybe you're also somebody that can kind of get like obsessively attached to people, but he likes that because he feels like he's also obsessed with you, but he does think that sometimes it's led to you getting your heart broken because you get so attached to people, but he doesn't see that as a flaw. He sees that as like a good thing about you, because when you find somebody that's like equally as obsessed with you, it's the most beautiful thing ever. And there's consistency within the relationship where it's like not one-sided, or not like one person likes the other person more. And I feel like you have that in your connection. But he thinks that when it's like in an imbalanced state where one person is more obsessed than the other, it can create chaos or problems. He thinks of you as somebody that's very wise and intelligent, outspoken, but he thinks that you may not see yourself as like the wisest person ever, but he thinks you're very wise. He thinks you give very good advice. But you also know what a person's ready to receive. So let's say you have a friend that is like always delulu about love and relationships, and you know if you were to tell her, get over this man, she probably wouldn't listen. She probably wouldn't be ready to hear that message. That is an example of the energy where it's like, you know what the person's ready to hear and what they're not ready to hear. Because sometimes when you tell somebody some type of advice that may be good advice, that may be great for them, it may actually sometimes derail them if they're not ready to hear that, or they may end up sometimes sending misdirected anger your way if they are not ready to hear that advice, right? If they're not ready to hear the truth in that situation. So sometimes it's better to just be there for them and let them learn on their own in certain situations, or wait till they're ready to actually receive that message. Because otherwise you just give advice to somebody that's not listening to your advice, you know? So there's a kind of like emotional maturity here, a kind of like ability to read the room, to know what people need and want in the moment, to know how to speak to people and how to like meet them at their level in the moment. Also with reading the room, like in certain situations, you know when or when not to say something, or when not to act on something based on the energy of the room. The Page of Cups, the Tower. Oh, but this is reverse, I think. No. It's upright, sorry. I always get confused with this Tower card because of the writing at the bottom. It's like some people maybe aren't as mature as you, and maybe they would crash out in a situation or kind of become very chaotic in a situation, but maybe you don't. And there's like some kind of difference in energy here, some kind of comparison of like other people react to situations in an emotionally immature way, but you don't. And you know how to maybe kind of like be there for people like that in those moments, how to calm them down. Especially when it comes to those you're close to, like when they're in an imbalanced state emotionally or chaotic state emotionally, it's like you know how to bring them back down to earth or back down to a calm place after a while. Maybe you've been there before, but you know how to like get yourself out of that situation so you're not reacting immaturely to situations. Anything else? Five of Swords. The Eight of Swords reverse. And the Six of Wands. You try to not be petty because you understand that it could change people's perception of you, affect your reputation or your image in some way. And in situations where you have to kind of keep the peace and you can't necessarily say anything to the person, like for example in your career, if your boss is being unfair in some situations, yes, we can, stand up for ourselves and advocate for ourselves, but in some situations we can't, and it's better to just keep the peace. And now I'm not saying that you should keep quiet if your boss is treating you unfairly, but I'm saying that in some situations, maybe it's better for you to keep the peace in that situation, especially if the boss is kind of like a tyrant or abuses their power. Or I've seen situations where somebody speaks up and then they get fired because of it. You know what I mean? I'm talking about situations like that. It may not be career, but I guess I'm using that as an example here where it's like, when to keep the peace and when to kind of react back or be petty. Maybe you try not to be petty. You try to like be the bigger person in most situations, but in some situations, maybe you allow that side of you to come out when necessary. I guess it just depends on the situation. So that's the type of woman he sees you as. I guess that's all I'm channeling for you right now. Let's go ahead and pull some zodiacs and initials. I'm hoping to get yours or his. Okay, so if you like my readings and you want to see more exclusive content of mine, I do have a membership where I post a weekly video on there. Let me know how this has resonated for you so far in the comments below. It's like I keep getting that he sees the differences in your and other people's personality and kind of compares it and sees you as like more mature than other people. We have Leo. We have Gemini. Sagittarius. Cancer. Libra. And I keep getting that you don't judge people for where they're at. Like, I see an image of somebody crying and being like, I'm a mess. And then you're like, I don't care about that. Like, I'm here for you. So there's something about like you just not judging people for the situations they're in. So Libra, Aries, Capricorn, and Taurus. Okay, cool. And then for the initials, we have O, H, S, J, P, R, V. SP here kind of reminds me of like, like in BPD kind of like situations when a person has BPD and they make somebody their kind of like special favorite person in their mind, like and become obsessed with them. Maybe some of you relate to that. V and X, G, A, U, M, O. I'm also getting that you know how to like conduct yourself in public, where again there's like a certain amount of privacy and secrecy where you won't talk about like personal things in your life. You won't open up too quickly to people or tell people your secrets. Like there's just something about the way you conduct yourself in public. Okay, so M, O, Q, T, and N. That is all I have for you. I really hope this reading resonated. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time.